Now we'll go through S9-7. This one says University Cycle Shop had trouble collecting its accounts receivable from Matt Reed. On January 19th, University finally wrote off Reed's $2,400 accounts receivable. University turned the account over to a lawyer who pursued Reed for payment for the rest of the year. On December 31st, Reed sent a $2,400 check to University Cycle with a note that said, "Here's your money. Please call off your bloodhounds." So when something's written off, as I've discussed in the videos, you don't just stop trying to get that amount. So here, the company gave this to their lawyers, who will then go after the customer and try and collect. And they can be vicious, as it seems here. So please call off your bloodhounds, Matt Reed says. We need to journalize the following transactions for University Cycle Shop. First, we record the write-off on January 19 against the allowance for doubtful accounts. So we haven't gone through and done the allowance, but obviously University Cycle, they use that allowance, so we have to assume it's already been set up. We are just going to start by writing off this amount on January 19th. So it says in the question they wrote off the $2,400. So the write-off has already been set up an allowance. So now we will just debit that allowance for doubtful accounts. We've figured out of this pool that we estimated, we've now figured out the customer who won't pay. Part of that is Matt Reed. So we're reducing the allowance account by debiting it. We're taking that away out of the estimate because we've now figured that out. And since we know that this is Matt Reed, we can credit the AR and it would come out of the subledger for that particular customer. So since the bad debts was already set up when we booked that estimate or the allowance, we do not add additional bad debts here. Instead, we take it out of that estimated pool and we can take it out of this specific customer now that we know who it is. Next, we have to record the actual collection that happened on December 31st. So we received that check and we want to record the collection. Now this needs to be done in the 2 steps. First, we reinstate Reed's account or reverse the write-off. So this entry that we did on January 19th, we're just going to do the opposite. So we debit accounts receivable. And again, we would put this back into Matt Reed, his subledger account. And we're going to credit, I'm just going to write AFTA to save time, the allowance for doubtful accounts. And we do that for the $2,400 because that's the amount that we received. So we've now just put this back in AR and we've filled that AFTA pool. So now again, we don't know who those uncollectible amounts were going to become from. So we put them back in that pool. And now that we've reinstated his balance, we can now record the collection. So we debit cash and credit the AR. Okay, so that is how you record a write-off and then a recovery of bad debts under the allowance method.